attention to the front, we have Indecisive.
So my name is Watson. I will be representing Community Knowledge today. That's the name of our company. So, millennials. A lot of negative connotations are associated with the term millennials. So just off the top of your guys' head, you know, what terms come to mind when you hear the word millennial? Anybody? Throw some out for me.
Lazy.
Yes, exactly. Millennials have a reputation of being lazy. People think all they do is hang out on their phone, post stuff on social media. They're a group that's categorized as lazy, and that's what people think of millennials. This is a problem in our society, and we're going to work to change that. Another problem is a problem of a sense of community. What we're going to do at Community Knowledge is bring students together with the community and the organizations that represent that community. So in today's age, community is a real big problem. Most younger people, you know, don't feel like they're part of their own community, and that's a problem that we're going to work to address. Now, what is Community Knowledge? What is our company? So basically, we're an app-based human resource company that is going to try to bring students together with organizations that need either volunteers, part-time workers, or internships. So essentially, yeah, we're a matchmaking thing. We're bringing students together with organizations and the communities that surround them. So it's really sort of a community building thing. And in a sense, it's profitable, it's also, again, it's very happy. So why choose Community Knowledge? And especially, you know, for the investors out there. And so for students, why would you sign up for this app? Well, basically, especially in community college, students need a way to stand out. They're going to be looking to transfer on to other colleges. They're going to be looking to get jobs in the workplace. They need a way to stand out. And this is especially for the people that just go to class and aren't really involved in things on campus. There are going to be people that are involved in things on campus. There are going to be people that do sports. There's going to be people that are in clubs. And they're going to stand out. They're going to look a lot better than you. You might have a little bit of better GPA, but they're going to look better because they're involved in a lot of things. So Community Knowledge is going to be a way for college students to get involved in things. Earn your volunteer hours, you know, make a little money on the side. Just get involved with your community, look better on your resume, really build the resume up, and, you know, look good on job applications as well. And obviously the second thing is, you know, these organizations, a lot of them are going to offer paid things. So it's a little extra cash in your pocket. And let's face it, who doesn't need a little extra cash? And so for organizations, it's pretty simple. We're going to have a huge talent pool of student workers that are going to be efficient, willing to work, and they're going to be a perfect fit to get some work done in an efficient manner. So demographics. So let's get this out of the way. We're really going to appeal to LA County. We're going to start with just a small demographic segment and then work our way out from that. We realize we're a small startup company. We can't really tackle everything at once. So we're really going to start within LA County. And again, our main demographic is going to be college students. And so we do have an age requirement. You have to be 18 years and older. Another requirement is you also have to have a 3.0 GPA, and you have to have been enrolled in a class within the last year. So this is basically to ensure that, you know, we're sending you good kids, we're sending you good workers, we're sending you people that, you know, have things on track and, you know what they're doing with themselves. And for organizations, we're really going to target pretty much anyone that needs, you know, efficient help. And especially we're going to look to, you know, sort of volunteer walks, stuff like that, food pantries, and, you know, small companies that just need, you know, part-time people, or even just day-by-day things. You need people for this day, this day, this day. We're appealing to kind of companies like that. And again, it's within Los Angeles County. So that's pretty much our demographic. And so revenue, you know, an important thing is how are we going to make money off of this? And so we're going to do that with three main ways. The first is going to be subscription. So we're going to have a database of student talent, which I'll talk about more a little later. And you're going to pay subscription fees as companies and organizations just to get access to this database, just to be able to communicate with all these talented students that we have in our community. And so the prices are up there. For a year, it's going to be $99.99. 4 months, it's going to be $29.99. 1 month is going to be $10.99. We basically staggered it out, so, you know, 1 month is, you know, 4 months is cheaper than buying 1 month 4 times. And so it's going to be more efficient for businesses. The second way we're going to get money is for the per day jobs that students are being offered by these organizations. We're going to take a page out of the book of, you know, companies like Uber and Postmates, but we're going to take 20% of that total job cost. And the other 80% will go to students. That's our second way we're going to make money. And third of all, which is a big way, is we're going to have advertising within our app. And so we're especially going to target companies that have college students as their demographic. So here we have a place where all these college students are coming together. If you're a company that needs to market toward college students, we have the perfect place for you to put ads. And so it's easy advertising money right there. So marketing strategy, essentially, what's going to kind of capitalize on this niche in the market. There's demand, and we're going to offer the supply, which is the college students. And this is where investors are really going to help. We want to kind of market aggressively, get a lot of advertising out there. So the first way we want to advertise, which is really cheap and cost effective, is social media. We're all college students and we all use social media. We in turn know other college students who use social media. So when we put information out there on social media, it's going to be seen by all these other college students. And then if they like it, they're going to put it out there, and this is going to be seen by even more college students. So that's a real simple, cost-effective way to advertise. The other way we want to do is through YouTube. And so this isn't as cheap. Ads run about 10 to 30 cents per view. And so that's, a lot of what we're going to do with the investment money is sort of advertise on things like YouTube, especially YouTube channels that are popular within the, millennial college student demographic. And, on that kind of same note, we're going to put advertisements on, Pandora, Spotify, places like that, which have kind of similar costs to YouTube. And so just appeal, it's really hammer down our demographic. And, as far as contacting organizations and businesses that may be interested in it, a lot of it's direct contact. We're going to find all these events that are going on within a year, big and small. We're going to contact all the organizations and small companies that are responsible, sort of get the name out there. This is what community knowledge is, and this is how we're going to help you. So that's pretty much our marketing strategy. And so a lot of our thing is based off the app. So here's a sample for our home screen. Really for the app design, we really wanted to go with just like simple, easy to use interface for students and organizations alike. So your home screen is a simple login and sign up. So if you're a student and you want to sign up, all you have to do is hit the sign up button. From there, you'll be kicked to a page where all you have to do is enter a valid student ID and a copy of your transcripts. Really simple. And once you're in, you get access to all these organizations and companies that are looking for student work and student help. You'll also get connect with other students at the same time. And for organizations, it's also pretty simple. All you have to do is, put your company name and what kind of work you were looking for. Volunteer paid per day, and what type of students would best fit, your company. And so here's the plan. So just to go a little bit more in depth. So the first year, we aren't really going to be making money, essentially. So we really just need to get our name out there for the first year. So most of the first year is going to be volunteer stuff. Say like AIDS Walk Los Angeles Marathon, places like that just need free volunteers. We're going to hook them up with our base of students that we're going to build up within this year by going to a lot of college campuses. Just in LA County, get the name out there. So once we have the student base built up, we're kind of going to go to these like nonprofit places and say, look, we have like a whole pool of student volunteers, and first year for us, we're going to offer a lot of free subscriptions. The first fee will be free to these businesses just to get our name out there. So hey, this is what we're doing. We're doing some cool thing. We're giving back to the community just like you guys are. So in turn, if you like the service, you spread the message. And that takes us to year 2, which is going to be more and more we're making the money back. Now that we have this base built up, now that we have some organizations that are familiar with our brand and our company and what we do, we're going to market to bigger organizations, people that need part-time workers. So where the money's really going to come in is from these bigger organizations once we get our name out there. And so yeah, every student in the pool of talent will be able to communicate to these organizations, and the organizations will be able to communicate directly with them and turn offer them money. And so Community Knowledge is a company that's pretty much set up with room to expand. Right now, we're just serving part-time work, volunteer, and internships. And these are just for organizations and students. So we want to expand that as well to everyday people. So there are companies out there like TaskRabbit that run errands for individual people. And so we want to expand to that too. We want to tap into that everyday person base and say, look, we have all these students that are willing to work for cheap prices and be efficient. So we want to give those everyday people access to those students as well. And that's sort of going to be a similar subscription-based process. That's just in terms of expansion. We also want to be able to compete with job finding sites like Monster and Indeed. We want companies to be able to post jobs that are specifically looking for students that are going to put out good work. So that's kind of the future of the company, and that's the direction that we want to go. And so our individual jobs for the project, since I did all the talking, So here was in charge of design and layout, Justin was finance, I'm obviously the pitch, and I was in marketing. And you know, despite what these job titles say, all of us here were really involved with the entire process. Pretty much everybody did like everything. So it was really like, you know, a team effort, a community effort. We collectively used our community knowledge to come up with this project. And as you can tell by the pictures, you know, we're fun groups, so we want to bring that kind of funness, that innovation, you know, to the marketplace. So thank you all for your time, and I hope you invest in
You're getting it back.
Can I start?
You're like this.
Hold on, let's let them start recording.
Yep.
All right. From the ashes I rise, huh? Okay, I see you. Game recognized, game. All right. I'll open it to the floor. Any questions?
I wasn't sure if you said this in the very beginning, I just might not have heard. Do you guys pick the wages once it gets to like the later years and they hire them, or does the company decide how much they make?
The company will decide how much we make. Essentially, we're just hooking them up with the company, and we're charging the company that subscription fee to get access to the student. But once they're in contact, you know, they work out that sort of stuff in terms of hiring them.
And then you guys pay 20%, right?
Yeah, that's for individual, like per day jobs, where organizations say, I'll pay this student $100 to come out here and do this. You know, we'll take $20 out of it. They'll get
Got
paid.
it, cool. Good job, bro.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I know you mentioned the cost, the subscription cost for the students. Does it depend on like the organization, how much they have to pay for a subscription, or?
No, so for students, the app is actually free. So it's free for students, and it doesn't depend on what size organization. The subscriptions are the same across the board. It's just the amount of time you want access to our database, essentially.
Who's in charge of finance?
Justin, oh, sorry.
First of all, loved it, great. Second of all, I noticed you guys said something about LinkedIn, like using them to kind of, expand or bring the attention to your company. But LinkedIn's already like a job and volunteer kind of site, so do you guys plan on partnering with them? Or is it more like ad kind of revenue, exposure type thing?
It's more just exposure, you know, put our name out there through our own personal accounts with LinkedIn, and we don't have to have any business connection with it to do that. We can just kind of put our information by using their site.
So I can't remember, I know you have different amounts for like the membership, right? For like the companies to pay for. What if you got like a company like a big company, like, you know, like Target or Walmart or something? Or is that not even like that in that alley?
No, because eventually we want to branch out to the bigger companies, but really we're just focusing kind of local things right now, again, within that LA County demographic. But you know, for future, when we expand, we'll definitely adjust the prices to kind of curtail to these bigger corporate retailers for part-time work.
Okay, so who was specifically in charge of demographics?
Again, it was a pretty collective effort with this
Okay, so this is a collective question then.
Yeah.
Can you explain why you chose college students 18 and up with a 3.0 grade point average and that have been enrolled in a class in the past year?
Basically, is, you know, a sort of vetting process for us, and we don't have time to background check all these students, so it kind of serves as a background check for us. If they have a 3.0, it shows that they work hard in school. They have to be enrolled in a class within a year. You can't just have like some student ID that you've been holding on. You actually have to be a real student. And obviously 18 plus, you know, you have to be an adult, avoid the lawsuits with that one. But really, it's just kind of a sort of a background check. It's proving that these students have shown their ability to work. They've shown their ability to get good grades. And you know, that's
So there's no cap on here. You can have a 45-year-old student
Right,
that
yeah, that
meets
was
these requirements.
the other thing that we discussed as well. Our main target is going to be millennials 18 to 25 years old within colleges, but there is no age cap. If you're a 40-year-old that needs.
I'm confused. So you just said there is and there isn't at the same time.
no, like our target range is, you
Yeah,
know,
target
18 to 25, and that's what we feel like we'll get the majority of the people from. But yeah, there are going to be some older people, you know, that are still in college, and they'll be able to use the site as well. Again, it's a collective community effort. We're trying to bring people together, so if older people want to do this, you know, all the better. They have a proven track record. with
So
their
all your
grades.
marketing, all that stuff's going to go towards 18 and 25.
Yeah, and
45-year-old wants to come on and join, you're open to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's cool.
And to answer your question a little bit more directly, one of the reasons why we chose that is, one was because of the whole thought of millennials being lazy, we want to fix that. Also, about 40%, at least nationwide, of millennials are unemployed. And so this is a chance for them to, and there's always that joke going around, before you can get a job, you need experience.
What percentage, sir?
40%. And, and a lot of students.
Do you know why that's so high?
I don't actually.
Where is that from?
I have to get I forgot the name of
Is that a random statistic?
no, it wasn't the random statistic.
My question on that is, if 40% don't have jobs, but they're willing and able, and the question is, why? My question is, so the problem you said is millennials have this stigma, reputation of being lazy, so how do you get them to not be? And then how do you solve that if that is already an issue? So there's a stigma that exists, and then your statistics kind of backs it up, that 40% don't work or don't have a job. How do you fix that?
Well, I think the big thing is preventing these millennials from getting jobs because, we know the stigma's not true. We know millennials aren't lazy. But like he said, the joke is that you need experience to get a job. And that's what I found, that's what other people in my group have found. So this is a way to get that experience.
Yeah, I think the question isn't asking that though. I think the more pointed question is asking that directly. Through your marketing strategy, how are you going to change that? What angle are you going to use?
Because you have to have two marketing platforms, right? You have to have one attracting students and then one attracting organizations, right? So what marketing tactics, slogan, approach are you going to take to get those 40% that aren't doing anything, and then also maybe tap into the 60% that want to do something different? So what approach are you going to take to attract them?
Right. And so jumping off of what Watt said is that we're going to be starting with Los Angeles County, but more specifically here at Citrus, connecting with the community colleges in the area, and letting them, whether it's the job centers or the transfer centers.
Okay, hold on. Who has a job in here? Who doesn't? How about that? Does anybody not have a work? Okay, not a good example. Let's say I don't have a job, all right? And I go to Citrus. How are you going to get me to join this? I fit the criteria. I'm 18 to 25. I have a 3-point-something GPA, and I've had a class in the last year. I'm just walking along the side. How do you get me excited to want to be like, oh, community knowledge, besides a really cool logo, besides a really cool logo, which I think is really cool, how do you get me to want to jump on board? That's what you will accomplish through marketing. Marketing is you advertise a message, have a copy, a slogan, some form of persuasive, ad. How do you convince me to go from where I'm at to where you want me to be?
I mean, also, think of it this way, right? Audience members, you can correct me if I'm wrong. How many times have you all been in a situation where you thought about a program on campus where you said, man, if I would have known about that last year, I would have joined that, right? Like, we experience this all the time. So how do we make sure that this program doesn't just fall by the wayside with all the other programs?
I think that would be a mix of, like I was saying with the job center, I know there are some job fairs that happen here on campus as well. So it would be on our part to, since we're going to be starting with Citrus College, we would be there interacting with the students. We will have our own flyer, we would be posting up things, even connecting with the Citrus College website and letting them know that, and especially like the transfer center, anyone that's coming to a community college, a majority of them are going to be wanting to transfer out. So the transfer center is going to be a way of letting the students know, hey, there are options that are going to improve your, your resume for transferring out.
You understand the issue here, right?
Yeah.
You're relying on the same sources that bury other programs to advance your program. You're aligning yourself with the same institutions that bury other programs. So what's the likelihood that you don't get buried? That's like the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. How are you going to be different?
I mean, I guess other than just going out to the colleges and working with the colleges. So like we said, we're going to be advertising on YouTube, social media is the big thing. Social media games.
Well, what is going to be advertised is the point. This is very general terms when I'm asking you to be specific.
Basically,
right? What does the marketing look like? What is the slogan? How are you pulling people?
We're basically going to use a pitch that, this is a way to get extra money. It works around your schedule. schedule, and you could also gain important volunteer hours to build your resume. Really, it's curtailed to college students, so, you know, these organizations are gonna be looking for college students, and it builds, you know, like a kind of brotherhood with other students that are in your same category, you know?
Question on for Justin on finance. If I'm a company, right? And you guys mentioned this, which this would be fun. If Indeed is free for me as a company, and they've got, I don't know, 1 billion people accessible to my post, maybe niche down to a local area here in Glendora, I think we're in the city of Glendora. Why would I pay? Why would I pay $99 a year, $40 every 4 months, or $11 a month when there's to a completely brand new platform versus a platform that's free and has, I don't know, 10 million times the users that you currently have?
I think we would be offering more like active college students that like are willing to go out and work.
You
What
know,
is that based off of? Because that was one of the big questions I had too, was in the revenue is, what are you justifying these costs off of?
We kind of just decided like, oh, like, if we're gonna make money, we want to maybe make a subscription that like you can use our website.
That's perfectly fine. I think the subscription idea is awesome. But why $99? Why the other one was $49 and the other one was something else, right? Like where are these numbers coming from?
Kind of just wanted to make it like cheaper for.
Is that cheap?
well, I say, once we build our database, we have access to, you know, like, even millions of students, you know, $100 a year for like an organization can be nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Well, it's not about just the price, right? For me, I look at ROI.
And also, you know, you brought up how Indeed was free. Well, Indeed kind of gives the illusion that it's free. You know, if you really want to get your job seen on Indeed, you need to pay the premium price. You need to pay the price to actually have your job listings come in the front. So I've used Indeed before. You have like thousands of job listings that comes up. Most of the people that didn't pay anything to be on Indeed, they go to the back. So all the people that are in the front, those are the people that paid. So really Indeed is getting money out of people. And if you use Indeed for free, you know, the job applicant's gonna have to go through, you know, thousands of things just to see your posting. So that's why we're not that much different by charging, you know, prices like this.
No, like I said, I don't think the idea of subscription is bad. I just don't think you've rooted it in anything, right? It's almost like you just came up with numbers.
Yeah, pretty much. We just thought they would be reasonable, you know, reasonable.
But it's
price.
not based off of anything. Like, what can your clientele afford? What is the average budget? Did you test it? Did you ask people if this was sufficient? Could they afford this? Another question I had real quick, I guess we'll make this the last question because we're running out of time. You put a plan in place that showed projected growth over the next 2 years. Did you take into account what your expected losses within the first year can be, and if that can be made up in the second year? Because that's when you said the money was really going to be coming in, right?
Yeah, I think roughly, you know, we're gonna take, being realistic, we're gonna take a sizable hit in that first year. And in the second year, we might not be able to recoup that full profit. But, you know, within a year after that, you know, that's when it's, because really the second
I mean,
year
a
is just
sizable, what is a sizable hit?
You gotta get specific. What's the number?
essentially kind of how we envisioned it is the cost of the first year, we're gonna pretty much make up in the second year. So they're gonna offset each other. Then
You
we're
you just said that you probably won't make up that in the second year.
Well, that's the goal. That's the goal, for them to offset each other. Then we'll be at zero, and now we have a whole base of students to work with.
Zoe, how did you come up with the idea for the app?
The idea was kind of all collectively.
I'm sorry, the design.
Well, for like the actual logo,
Yeah.
that was actually, we used like a website that just kind of like creates logos and stuff for you to use.
I think I would have just liked to seen a little bit more user interface,
Yeah.
like just besides the login screen. What's the platform look like? How do I search?
No, that I just did it myself.
No, besides that,
Yeah.
like just a little bit more in depth, like user experience, like what's the platform? I mean, I know you're making it up.
I
like-
mean, a couple more pictures of like what you had up there would have been awesome to really show the simplicity of the app, right? Instead of just telling us this is what to expect, you know what I mean? But all in all, good job. Good job.